Sound right, boys. Sound right, boys.
lot of talent.
Hey, we can say hi. Let's be proud of
Thank you. Yeah, thank you. Yeah.
You got that goal.
When do we start?
As know each other.
This is why I've been able to do what I do and have carried myself.
Close. So we had a good time on that show. Hello, and welcome to another episode of Roz's Happy Hour. I'm your girl and your host. This is brought to you by Trisha Entertainment. How is everybody? What's happening? At least we are much better than we were the last time I was on here. We got a new president. Yay! Now, if we can just get this virus under control. So, would you take the pledge with me and wear your mask and social distance so that we can get back to live entertainment? Well, if you're new here, thank you. If you've been here before, welcome back. And we look forward to seeing you all again. And I appreciate you. If you could do me a favor and share the link. Did you see Mesa at our last show? She was amazing. I mean, remember to download one or all of her 4 of her CDs. Man, she came and she sang so beautifully. You can definitely check it out on my YouTube channel at Roz's Happy Hour. Please subscribe to the station if you haven't. I really need some more subscribers. I mean, I got a long way to go. I'm trying to get to 1,000. So, help me out. And you can check out our website for more information about who we are and what we're doing at Trisha Entertainment. Well, our guest for today has a story that is so compelling. When I heard it, I was like, yo, you got to come on Roz's Happy Hour. We got to talk. I want to hear this story. He talks about having one of the largest hip hop tape collections, losing everything in life, and how his mom took part in it. Please give him some hearts and let's welcome Hip Hop Museum Executive Director, also Executive Director of Partnership Content for Faya TV, Brand Ambassador for Generation Hip Hop, Brand Ambassador for Whip Fanatics, CEO, founder of Geechie Dan Hip Hop Tape Show, CEO, founder of Hip Hop Icon Music Channel, Advisory Board, Hip Hop Boulevard, Zula Nation member since 1983, and WBAU 90.3 FM Radio Pass. Please welcome Geechie Dan. Here you go.
Hey, what's up? What's good?
Hey, what's happening? Welcome to Roz's Happy Hour.
Roz,
Yeah.
Bay Area. What's good? West Coast. What's popping? What's good?
Nothing much. It's cold in New York.
Yeah. It's cold, snowing. I see you getting your drink on.
You know, it's happy hour. It's happy
That's what's
hour.
up.
West Coast. It's only 5 o'clock, 5:30. So let me just holler at a few people right quick before we get
Go
started.
ahead.
We got a lot to unpack tonight. What's up, Walt? Thank you for joining. Good evening. Who's that? My girl, Pam. What's up, Pam? Say hi to Geechie.
Yep.
Laura, good evening. Good evening. Well, we got a lot to unpack tonight. And so Um, I've been doing my best. I will do my best to keep the conversation moving and staying up with you because you know I'm out of my element, right?
It's all good. I appreciate the love. I appreciate you reaching out to me to, to show me love and, hear my testimony, So I appreciate that. Thank you.
You're welcome. Somebody said this is gonna be the most proper interview ever. Well,
Yeah.
well, let's begin with this. Where did the name Geechie come from? Is it what I think?
Huh?
Is it what I think? Is that like New Orleans or something?
Geechie?
Yeah.
Geechie Dan. I've been having that name since the 80s, since early 80s. And some of my friends, they used to hang around me in Queens on my, in my neighborhood. They said, yo, man, you look like a geech. So it's like, I said, what the hell is a geech? What's that mean? But they said, you look like one. So I said, all right, well, I guess I'm a geech. So then, Uptown Saturday Night with Sidney Poitier and Harry Belafonte playing Geechie Dan, Bill Cosby. That was one of my favorite movies. So, everybody was looking for a name.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
An MC name, a DJ name at that time. So Geechie Dan just kind of just fit me. My real name is Daniel. And so it's just like, yo, Geechie Dan. That's it. Nobody else was using that name back then. So it just kind of fit.
It kind of
So
fit.
that's where I got Geechie Dan from.
Okay.
Uptown Saturday Night. Big shout out to Harry Belafonte.
Yeah, Harry Belafonte. So, how did you get into the hip hop game? And
how did I get into the hip hop game? Woo! You sure you want to go there?
Oh,
you sure you want to go there? Whoa! Okay, you asked for it. You asked for it. You asked for it. All right, check it out.
You scare me. You scare me. It's too early to be scared.
I ain't gonna scare you, but how I got into the hip hop game, well, there was several factors that led me into the hip hop game. One, I had the tapes. I was collecting tapes at that time, and I used to emulate the people on the tapes, the individuals, our hip hop icons and legends of today. Back then, I was emulating them on tape, and you know what I'm saying? So instead of saying their name, I would say Geechie Dan. And I started envisioning myself in the tape at the party, whether it was the T Connection, whether it was at Harlem World or Savoy Manor, or whether it was a park jam, or whether it was at a Zulu Nation anniversary party or Bronx River Projects in the Bronx. I just was emulating. I was so engulfed in what they was doing. I was like, damn, this is dope. I'm bopping my head and I'm feeling the vibe. I'm loving the routines, Powwow and Globe and the Cold Crush 4, the Force MDs, Treacherous 3, Funky 4, Furious 5. Big shout out to all the groups back then that was putting in this big pot of gumbo I call today hip hop, because I felt like everybody contribute to this. Somebody doing a steak, somebody doing some ribs, somebody doing a potato, somebody doing a carrot, some seasoning, somebody doing, so somebody, everybody contribute. And that's how I got into, the passion of hearing, MCing and watching, the breakdancing and hearing the DJs cut up records and, mixing records. And then, I went to my first park jam in 1977. I was 10 years old. So from there, I was like, wow, this is dope. This is so different than the norm, what was going on the radio at the time, disco. at the time was, you know, on the radios and on the TV, and to hear people mixing disco records and scratching and cutting, you know, later on in the 70s and the early 80s, it was fascinating for me to hear. And I knew from when I was hearing this, I said, yo, I got to be involved somehow, in some way. I have to be involved in this, because this is what, you know, and I'm hearing the tapes of this. I wasn't actually at the parties because I'm 10, 11, 12 years old, but I was getting the tapes from the parties. I was hearing the tapes on, you know, different radio shows at that time, Zulu Beats, you know, big shout out to Africa Islam and Donald D. They was, you know, they had a radio program called Zulu Beats. They used to come on Wednesday night at 2:00 in the morning. And then the operating room, Dr. Dre from Yo MTV Rap and Bill Stephanie from, you know, BAU Spectrum City, 90.3 FM college radio, they was playing, you know, snippets of tapes of jams, skating rings, and you know, clubs and stuff like that. So and then the world famous Supreme Team show, you know, big shout out to Devon and them, they was playing, you know, tapes as well, snippets. So I was like, wow. So I'm hearing Flash, I'm hearing WizKid, I'm hearing Pow Wow, I'm hearing Lisa Lee, Zulu Nation, I'm hearing Funky Four, I'm hearing Cold Crush, I'm hearing Jazzy 5 MCs from Soundview, I'm hearing Sha Rock. And this was like, to me, like another planet, universe of, as far as music was concerned. And so that's what helped. That's why I gravitated towards it. And then me hearing the tapes and collecting the tapes, it went into another direction with me rhyming. So I started rhyming around that time. I was collecting tapes, and then I got down with Zulu Nation, a hip hop organization based out from the Bronx, from Bronx River. I got down with Zulu Nation. It was like 1983, 1984, I believe. I was still in high school. I went to Andrew Jackson in Queens, and then I was transferred over to Francis Lewis High School. And, you know, so I'm hearing all these tapes, and then I'm like emulating, I'm rhyming, and I'm saying Geechie Dan this and Geechie Dan that. Instead of saying their name, I'm saying my name. And then Run DMC comes out. And that was like from Hollis, because I'm from Farmers Boulevard. I'm from Hollis. I'm from 112 Road and Farmers Boulevard. And that, you know, that's St. Albans and that's Hollis. And some dudes from my neighborhood do what was going on up in the Bronx. That made me even more love the love of hip hop. It really, because now I'm seeing these, you know, I'm seeing Run DMC in my neighborhood. They like 10 blocks away from me, 11 blocks away from me. So I'm like, wow, these dudes is doing what I'm doing. And they taking what they doing, and when I'm emulating and when I'm hearing on the tapes, to another level. So that was special for myself. It was special for people from Queens. You know, we got our own heroes. They ain't the dudes from, no disrespect from the individuals and the brothers and sisters from the Bronx, but we got our own heroes in Queens. And when Run DMC took it to another level, it was like, wow. So that's when really inspired me to really go full speed into, you know, collecting more tapes and get more involved into hip hop. And then, you know, then you got LL Cool J.
I was going to ask you that next.
Right down the street from me. You know, he's like 6 blocks away from me. And I'm
Okay.
like, and I knew him. We knew each other. We're talking about 14, 15 years old. Before he even made I Need a Beat. We was playing football, and you know, we was passing 40 ounces of beer, and you know, we was play fighting, and you know, we was doing teenage stuff.
Yeah.
You know, so that's what teenagers do, you know, girls and all that, and phone numbers, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I ain't gonna, go all out. I ain't gonna go all in about what we was doing, because out of respect of him, because I'm married and he's married.
Yeah.
We grown now, you know what I'm saying? But you know, we doing what teenagers do when you're 15 and 16 years old.
So he was at the Park Jams. LL Cool J and Ron DMC were at the Park Jams.
Yes. At the block party, LL was more. You know, he was doing his thing around the way. You know, house parties and block parties. You know, and you know, he can't. I remember vividly. You know, he was playing his demo for I Need a Beat. And this is, you know, this is really special, you know, to hear, you know, this man, this young teenager at that time, you know, telling me, sharing with me his dream about just wanting to hear his song on the radio in New York City radio.
Yeah.
We didn't see, you know, we didn't see where he is today. He just wanted to have his song on the radio, on WBLS or Kiss FM at the time. You know, this is 1984. So he's playing me his song, I Need a Beat, his demo. And he's playing it on the cassette tape. If all those that don't know about cassette tapes, that was our vinyl back then, before the mainstream, the rate, the TV, the endorsements, and the deals and the record deals and all that. The tapes were our way of getting around the neighborhood and getting around through the city. And so he played me his tape, and he. The funny thing is, it's really funny, but I think about it now. It's not. It's like, wow, this brother. He was so passionate about it himself. He was really determined about, and he really was feeling himself, which at that time was a good thing for us. You know, good thing to be about yourself. You know, you have to feel yourself. You got to have, you got to be able to have some faith in yourself.
Yeah, that's where it all started.
And he had that. And so he's playing his tape. His song, I Need a Beat, and he's playing it. He must have played it for me 6 or 7 times, and he kept rewinding the tape to play it again for me. And I'm sitting there like, yo, Todd, the song is dope. You ain't got to keep rewinding the tape for me, B. And he's rewinding the tape and making sure I'm hearing it, and I'm taking it all in. And I'm like, yo, man, this is like the 6th time you played the song for me.
Wow.
But that's how he was. And, and when we talk today, I really give him a lot of respect and props for believing in himself. And, you really have to believe in yourself. And I give it to him. He really went for his, and he made his dream come true, plus more. You know what I'm saying? It just wasn't just, okay, his song was on the radio. Now he became more than just a MC. He became a legend.
Yeah.
And I give a big shout out to LL Cool J for that. Okay. I want to say that to him. You know what I'm saying? I want to make sure that he hears about it, or he hears about it, or he hears it himself, that, somebody that grew up with him was able to say, hey, this brother made it. And he was able to accomplish what he wanted to accomplish, and he was able to live his dream and make his dream come true. All right.
Wow, that's deep. So, are you, Ron DMC, and LL Cool J still in contact these days?
Yes, I speak to LL. I spoke to LL, I think, around his birthday. His birthday's just passed in January, a couple weeks ago.
Nice.
And I speak to DMC. I don't speak to Run that much, but I speak to DMC, here and
Hey,
there.
they're two different people.
Huh?
Run and DMC are two different people.
Run DMC is two different people. Yes, Run,
Oh,
and then you got Run is Joseph Simmons, Russell Simmons' brother,
yeah.
and then you got DMC Daryl McDaniels. They're two different individuals.
Okay.
Hold on, man.
Okay. All right. I'm with you now. So, okay, so I got you. So Russell Simmons, he came up around the same time, or he was older than you all, right?
He's older. He's older than us. Yes, Russell was actually Curtis Blow's manager at that time in the early '80s, late '70s, and and Run from Run DMC was actually the son of I think he was called the son of Curtis Blow.
Mm-hmm.
And he used to DJ. He used to DJ for Curtis Blow at first.
Yeah. So that's my only experience in the hip hop world actually is my friend Curtis Blow. That was my go-to dude, that I would book on shows. So I just want to send a shout out to him and praying for him. He's had some tough medical challenges.
Yes.
Yes, I want to him and his wife, Shirley, I worked with them a
Yes,
lot.
big shout out to Curtis Blow. Get better, brother. And I had talked to him about 2 weeks ago. He's doing well. And we talked about a new situation that I'm going to involve him with, which I haven't told anybody yet. So
you heard it here first.
I'm going to mention it. I'm not going to, dwell on it in detail about it until I get the paperwork completed with the IRS. But once the paperwork is complete with the IRS, I'm going full-fledged with it. But I'll throw you a bone.
Okay.
I'll give you a mention real quick.
Yeah. So my only other experience was I tried to book E40 and they said text them the deal. I'm like, text? I'm in corporate. We do written deals, So I said, nah, I better leave this alone. But
let me show love to E40. Big shout out to E40 out west in the Bay Area. You know what I'm saying? A lot of people don't understand his lingo, his music, don't understand that coming from New York. So, I'm not that type of a person that, I ain't gonna curse, but I ain't that type of a person to hate on somebody else because they're not from New York or their music content is different. And, something that's not familiar with what we used to hearing here in New York, as far as music and lyrics. But I give him props. So big shout out to him. All right. E40, your boy Geechie Dan. That's right. AY, baby.
So for now, novelists, what's the battle? Is where everybody stands around and talks trash, and that's what you guys were doing?
When you talking about the battle?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, there was two battles. Well, technically there was one battle. The first situation with me and LL was on 112th Avenue, around the corner from where I grew up on 112 Road. There was a spot on the corner of 112th Avenue and Farmers Boulevard called the Black and White. It was called the Black and White. Okay. And my homeboy Bookie Fats was a DJ, and my man Felio, big shout out to them. They in the back of the club, rhyming and DJing, doing what they do. Mm-hmm. I come in the spot, and I started rhyming with Felio, and I was known at that time, back in 85, 84, 85, I was known to rhyme off my head a lot at that time. I never really wrote, I didn't even write rhymes. I was just rhyming off my head. And I said a rhyme off my head. I said, it's not a fable and it's not a myth. Cool J's real name is James Todd Smith. But when it comes to rapping, he can't compare because his hairline is back here, I swear. And everybody was like, oh, no, he didn't.
Yeah.
And, he wasn't there. So somebody went to get him or tell him to come to where we was at because this skinny dude named Geechie Dan is dissing him. So he came, you know, he came up in the spot, and I extended my hand out to him. I said, "Yo, Todd, what's up?" And he was like, "Yo, what's up?" And he pushed my hand down because he obviously he had heard what had happened. And so, he wasn't taking too kind to be talking too much with me like that.
Wow.
Like we break, like, what I'm saying? So I shoved him, he shoved me. I tried to knock his Kango off. He must have had crazy glue on it because it didn't come off.
Way back then.
And that's how it was. My man broke up we was going back at, arguing and everything. We didn't throw hands on each other. And, the party was over. At that point, the party was over. And we went outside in front and we was chopping it up. And he was like, "Yo, man, such and such and such and such." And I was like, "Yo, we didn't fight anything. We argued a little. And then, this is like 2, 3 o'clock in the morning. So we was like, whatever." And then a couple more weeks later, I seen him on Farmers Boulevard with his dudes that he's with, that I'm cool with, but he's with them. You know what I'm saying? He's cool. He's cooler than with them than me at that time.
Okay. I'm with you.
So he called me across the street, said, "Yo, Geechie, come here. Come here." And I'm like, "Nah, man, you got like 40 dudes with you. I'm not coming across the street. I ain't stupid." He said, nah, for real. Come here. We good. So I came across the street, we shook hands, we bugged out, we talked. And then there's a game room on Farmers Boulevard. We all used to hang out and, drink beer and talk to girls, get phone numbers and all that, and play video games. We Asteroids and Space Invaders, you know what I'm saying, and Pac-Man, at that time.
Yeah.
So we in the club. Not a club, but it's a game room. We in the game room and and then he's like, "Yo, what's up with that Juice talking at that party?" I said, "Yo, we can battle right now," because I wasn't afraid of him. So I was like, "Yo, let's battle. Let's do it. I don't care. Okay. I'm number 2. You number 1 in the hood. So let's do it." So, I went first and he went second and I lost. And that's it. Okay. And we've been friends ever since.
Okay.
We've been cool. We've been really, we don't have no animosity. We don't have no beat. We don't have no problems. We cool. Yeah. So ever since then, we've been really cool. So big shout out to him. Big shout out to LL.
Yeah.
Cool J, man. That's what's up.
So let's move into where your mother, the organization, were adamant that you could not pursue.
There you go.
Let's get into the meat of, I think that is such a phenomenal story. And I really would love you to share how your mother would not let you pursue your career in music.
What happened was when my mother.
Hold on one second. Hold on, Geechie. We got to holler out to the Shy Lights, the Godfather, Marshall Thompson. Thanks for joining us.
Shy Lights. Big shout out to the Shy Lights.
Yeah. All right. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
Yeah. My mother was a different beast. We used to go, my mother and I, we used to go to the Kingdom Hall on Hollis Avenue, and
Jehovah's Witness.
We used to go to the Kingdom Hall. Jehovah's Witnesses go to the Kingdom Hall.
Okay.
So, my mom started studying with the Jehovah's Witnesses in 1974, and she got baptized at the Jehovah's Witness convention in 74 as well. So, my mother was the type of a person really like stern, and I have to say that she had a lot of control on me. I'm not too embarrassed to say it now, but early on I was like, dang, I didn't, my mom's had a lot of control on me, which she shouldn't have that much control, but she did. She had a lot of control on about, you know, what I wanted to do and how I wanted to move. And, you know, so we're talking 1985, 1984, 85. I was really getting a buzz, a big, you know, buzz in the neighborhood. And, you know, I was rhyming in the parks, McConnell Park on Murdoch Avenue. And, you know, I was really, you know, getting a name out there in the streets as far as hip hop was concerned, as far as rhyming was concerned, as far as collecting the tapes. And, you know, I got down with Zulu Nation at that time in the Bronx, and they used to attend the, you know, the meetings, the Zulu Nation meetings at Bronx River Community Center on Tuesday night at 7:30 p.m. And so then now I'm going to the Kingdom Hall. I'm in, you know, involved with Zulu Nation. I'm involved with hip hop, and I'm going to BAU radio in 1984. And my mother's hearing me, you know, talk about, you know, LL and Run DMC and DJ MC Flavor, who was now MC DJ, you know, Flavor Flav from Public Enemy, and Chuck D and Dr. Dre from Yo MTV Rap, because that's, you know, in Long Island at the radio station, that's when I was, you know, listening to them. And I was, you know, I eventually went up to the radio station and started answering the phone lines, making dedications and, you know, making, you know, demos, songs for the radio station. And 1986 comes, and I made a song called Let's Dance. And I received a record deal from Public Records with the help of a brother by the name of Mikey D from Queens, from Lawrenton, Queens. Big shout out to Mikey D in Lawrenton. He you know, he told me to see the person that runs runs Public Records. So I you know, I went up to, you know, his condo on the in Manhattan, and, you know, he gave me a record deal and everything. And then I came back home. It was for, you know, my mom wasn't happy, you know, like I thought she would be. You know, I was in community college at that time. I was dating a girl from the Bronx at that time. And I was going to the Kingdom Hall, and I just got a record deal. So I just got my, you know, a car. My mom's bought me a used car. So, you know, I'm thinking, you know, I'm doing pretty good for 19 years old. You know, my mom's, you know, she can't be, you know, upset with me. She can't be disappointed at me.
Right, of course.
But, you know, she put a lot of, you know, she, you know, told me that, you know, I could never be successful in what I love to do. And in order to be successful in life, I had to become a Jehovah's Witness. And I, you know, it didn't register with me with that. You know, this is my mother telling me that I can't be successful unless I'm a Jehovah's Witness. And that didn't make any sense to me at all at that time. We're talking about 19 years old, 18 years old. So my mom's, you know, she put a lot of peer pressure on me and discouraged me. And she got you know, people from the Kingdom Hall, individuals, you know, the top leaders in the Kingdom Hall to, you know, give Bible talks, give public talks about rap music and hip hop. At that time, it was, you know, it was a fad. And, you know, you're never going to be anything if you pursue that. And Jehovah is the only, you know, sure way of being successful in this system of things, in this life. And you got to become a Jehovah's Witness, and you got to dedicate your life to Jehovah. And I was like, well, you know, so, you know, my mother had a vice grip on me, and I didn't know how to maneuver with her being like that with me and discouraging me on something I love to do. I love hip hop. And
Mm.
my mother started putting whatever peer pressure she had on me, it escalated 5 times more. She started locking me out the house. She started locking up the refrigerator. She started, taking my car, privileges with driving my car. She took that away from me. And, I had to call the cops on my mom's. A lot of times, I called the police on my mom's to let me in the house because she would lock me in the house and I would sleep in my car or I would sleep on the front step on my stoop. And we're
Oh,
talking about winter
yeah.
time.
Yeah. She wasn't
So
playing.
so the police, NYPD would come to our home and talk to my mom's, and they'd be like, Miss Chamberlain, your son seems to be, he seems to be a good kid. He's in college, he got a little girlfriend, and he's working at an investment firm in Manhattan, and he graduated high school. What's the problem? Like, why are you doing this to him? He don't seem like he's such of a bad kid, like you describing him. And she was really adamant about me becoming Jehovah's Witness, and I felt different. I was like, I don't mind, if I have to go to the Kingdom Hall and participate in, some of the activities in the Kingdom Hall, but becoming a Jehovah's Witness was something that I felt like it should be a choice that I should make freely on myself. And she didn't feel that way. And, when I turned 18 years old, my mother was a guardian, was appointed guardian over my money that my one of the life insurance policies that my mother took out against my father back in the 70s, and she was about to cash in. She already cashed in two of them, and one of them was left up to for me when I turned 18 years old, and it was quite a bit of money. We're talking about $43,000 at that time. And so my mother, like I said, she used that against me as hostage, to give me an ultimatum. Look, you got to become a Jehovah's Witness. You got to dedicate your life to Jehovah and get baptized in the next 6 months. And if you do not get baptized in the next 6 months, you have to leave my home, and you're not going to get your guardianship money, and you're going to have to get out my house. And you have to sign the contract that she drew up. She drew up a contract for me and her to sign. And she had a fake notary, stamp it. And she said, basically, in the contract that she drew up for me, she said I had to sign that contract that day. I couldn't sign it or next week. I had to sign it that day, and I had to continue going to the Kingdom Hall. I had to continue giving talks in the ministry school, and I had to continue going in field service, and then I had to get baptized at the next Jehovah's Witness convention in the next few months. And if I agreed to that, I would get my money soon right after. And so I signed the contract that she drew up. She had it notarized, and she gave me a copy. And then in the next 6 months, she jerked me, and she already had spent the money. She already spent the remaining money that she already used. She spent the money up and used all the money up for her benefit.
Wow.
So I became a Jehovah's Witness based upon the ultimatum that she gave me, and then I got jerked. So that's how that went.
So is that because I got my book?
Oh, wow, you got your. Oh, you surprised me. Thank you.
Yes, yes, you guys, you have to check this book out. The Kingdom Hall No More. I mean, it is I haven't finished it, but man,
Which chapter are
it's
you
so
on?
much what is so much I'm on wait a minute. I'm just on page 11. I just wait. So this is chapter 2. I'm just starting it, but
Okay.
it's so much from the back, from the fort to just, a whole thing about the language from the Kingdom Hall. I always
Yes.
wondered why those folks were knocking on my door, witnessing, and just reading your book enlightens me and what you have to say about that religion. Number one, being forced to be in a religion is one
Mhm,
thing, but what their beliefs are is a whole nother thing. And
mhm.
how you came out of that. I mean, after you had to have some really, that's your mom, you know
Right. Right.
it, it had to be a tough time for you.
Yeah, I had to, I had to learn, how do I become successful in doing something that I love to do without being disrespectful or dishonorable.
Hmm.
So that's when I became less religious and I became more spiritual, because I took it upon to start having a relationship with God, and not having a relationship with the organization of the Jehovah Witnesses, with the Kingdom Hall. And I
Wow.
prayed to God about, how do I move? How do I respond to the negativity? How do I respond back to my mother that doesn't want me to be successful, that told me I would never be successful? How do I do this without being dishonorable
Yeah.
or disrespectful? So I had to learn. It took years. This
Hmm.
wasn't an overnight situation with me. It took 10, 15 years to figure out, how do I do this
Hmm.
so I can be successful. I
Hmm.
can be happy
Hmm.
in what I love to do,
Hmm. Hmm.
without making it seem like or be like I'm going tit for tat, or I feel like I have to show my mother I had to show my mother off, or I got to show her. And I didn't want to do, I didn't, or be disrespectful. I didn't want to do that. So
Hmm.
God, when I went, the thing about with God, you
Hmm.
know, he wants you to be successful. He
Yeah.
wants you to be happy. He
Yeah.
wants you to come to him
Yes.
and talk to him
That's right.
and ask him and pray to him and say, hey. And that's what I started doing, because the Jehovah Witnesses wasn't rocking with me like that. Because they already, disfellowship me. So, and when Jehovah Witnesses put you out the organization, they don't have no more ties with you
Mm.
spiritually, or any type of physical contact, on where there's a relationship. The
Mm.
relationship is gone
Mhm.
with them. So I had to learn how to start getting a relationship with Jehovah, with God, or Allah, or Jesus Christ, the
Mm.
Almighty One, with God,
Absolutely.
and
Absolutely.
not have a relationship with them. Because
Mhm.
it didn't because and then when I started to learn about how God operates, and about learning about how he is and what he's all about, I started learning about more about myself, and I
Yeah.
started learning about more about my passion, which
Mhm.
eventually turned into my purpose, and your purpose would turn into your destiny.
Mhm.
But it took time to learn all this, and I,
Mm.
I felt like I had to start all over spiritually. Like when the Jehovah Witnesses, disfellowshpped me, when they kicked me out the organization, I was on spiritual vacation, as I call it. I was on vacation because I didn't know or understand anything else but the Kingdom Hall or the Jehovah Witness doctrine,
Yeah.
so to speak. I didn't know about having a relationship with God. I didn't know anything about that. I didn't know. All I knew was a bunch of scriptures.
Yeah.
So,
hold on a second. Let me just interrupt you for 1 second.
go ahead.
Let's
Yes, go ahead.
let's holler at your wife.
Yes.
Hey Sheila, how are you? It's nice to meet you. Laura is super special to me and mean no harm. Seriously. So let's stay positive, y'all. This is a good time. We got enough stress on us. So thank you guys for tuning in. We're gonna keep going. And
Thank you,
got
Sheila. Big
Atlanta.
shout out to my wife. Big shout out to my wife, Sheila.
Oh man, you love your wife. I see the
Yeah.
pictures. Off the
Thank
hook.
you.
Yes.
Yeah. My wife is definitely somebody that, we have a lot in common, and we understand a lot about what, my situation and her situation because of our upbringing in the Kingdom Hall. We both used to go to the Kingdom Hall.
Gotcha.
When we grown up. Her mother is a Jehovah's Witness. My mother is a Jehovah's Witness. We have a lot in common. As we started growing and getting to know each other, we found out we have a lot more in common than a lot of people that's in relationships. So big shout out to my wife.
Yeah, that's wonderful. I mean, I feel like I grew up in a Catholic, but didn't understand we were forced to go there because we were in the inner cities of Chicago. But then as I got older and I went to Baptist, it was like learning really religion versus something that a ritual that you were just doing at the Catholic, in the Catholic religion. So that's deep. But you went to Atlanta. You got out of New York and moved on.
Yeah. I left New York back in 1995, and I got married. That was my first marriage.
Mm-hmm.
And I went to live in Albuquerque, New Mexico, which was completely night and day from New York.
Mm-hmm.
The culture, was Midwest. It was, Southern West, and, Indian and, Hispanic culture, Latino. And I went to college. I went to UNM during the daytime, and then I was working at the penitentiary in Santa Fe in New Mexico. I used to be correction officer up and I did a lot, so I put in some time in corrections in New Mexico at that time, and got a chance to try to understand where I'm trying to find me, trying to find where what is my purpose? What is it that I'm supposed to do? And at that time, I didn't know. I'm still searching, so I went through my first marriage, and, we was together, me and my ex-wife at that time. I was married to her for about 15 years. And then, we went to Atlanta, and then I got, divorced, and then a new situation, with ex-wife number 2. And that, when you're thinking that the grass is greener and you're not getting what you're supposed to be getting at home, you think that it's supposed, you think most people like, yeah, well, I'm not getting what I'm supposed to be getting at home from this individual. I'm gonna go out and I'm gonna get this from this individual. And we both know that it was a disaster.
Yeah.
From that point on, it just got worse. Because you thinking that you're not getting what you're supposed to be getting from this individual. The grass is greener on the other side. And so when you go into another situation without really having any closure on the first situation, you just making matters worse, and it just wasn't good.
Yeah.
And so I encourage anybody that's married or that's in relationships or anything to have some closure before you move on to a new situation, because you don't want to bring the baggage or all that from the first situation over to the new situation, because it's never going to work.
No.
So from experience, I had to learn the hard way. And at that time, I'm still trying to figure out me. I'm trying to figure out my purpose. I had the passion because I still had the cassette tapes. They collected cobwebs, and I'm playing tapes of them. I'm converting my tapes to CD and MP3, and I'm enjoying, but I'm out of the loop in Atlanta, and God just seems to be working, and he just works. He's just a fun. Let me tell you how God works. God, he knew my passion. He knew how I felt about hip hop and how motivated and how passionate I was about hip hop. But when things started going haywire, and when you're not doing right in your life and you're not living right and you're not doing right, and you come into a new situation and it's not right, and you haven't cleared, you haven't cleared and done the right thing by your previous situation.
Right.
This new situation ain't never going to be the correct, ain't never going to be right.
Yeah.
In God's eyes and in the way he looks at it. Yeah. So everything that I was going through in my second marriage was just a confirmation of not going about it doing it the way that I'm supposed to have done it in the beginning. And that I had to the consequences, and it's going to be consequences in that. There's you're gonna have to accountability is when you're doing something that you ain't supposed to be doing, you have to have accountability, and that's just what it was. And God was like, this ain't right. What you doing is not right. How you living is not right, and how you going about it is not right. And so I have to strip you. I have to humble you and remove everything from you that you think is a cushion, that you think that you're successful, but you're not happy. So I had, I had a $90,000 job. I had a Benz. I had a Lexus, and I was eating well, and I had homes built from scratch in Georgia, and I had the dog and the picket fence, and but I wasn't happy. The materialistic items that was coming towards me made me feel like I was successful, but I really wasn't, and I wasn't happy. And God knew that. And so when I wanted to really, really live a life that I wanted to live, and I wanted to be successful in what I love to do. It didn't. The working at AT&T wasn't cutting it. Having a Benz and driving a Lexus wasn't cutting it for me, and I wasn't happy. And the domino effect started, in 2015. That's when I lost my job. That $80,000, $90,000 job, gone. Then I lost my car. They repoed my car, gone. Then I went to jail because my license was suspended. So I went to jail for two weeks, gone. Lost my freedom. I lost my car. I lost my job. Now I'm about to lose my marriage, and then I'm about to lose my home. So all this happened in 6 months. In a 6 months time frame, I lost everything. Where I thought that I was, I thought I was successful because I had all these materialistic, I had this money, but I wasn't happy. And it's God to bring me on my knees and humble me and reach
That's
out to
it.
him and cry. I really literally had to cry why I'm in this situation and what is it that I want from life. And I want him to help me, to fix me. And he said, I'm going to fix you. And it's not going to be comfortable. It's not going to be comfortable for you, dude. So, all right, you sure you want this? Because you came to me in prayer and all right, okay. And my son at that time was 16 years old. My oldest son, little Daniel, he was like, I was on his bed. I was sitting on his bed. I'm the father and I'm sitting on my son's bed. And I asked him, tearing up, crying. I said, what should I do? He said, go back to New York. You're from New York. You love hip hop. And you got all these tapes that you converted to CDs and MP3s that you listen to all night and all day. You listen to these tapes all day. This is what you do. You know hip hop in the back of your hand. You know all this. You live this. You battled LL. You with Zulu Nation, and you live this. So go back to New York and live and do what you love to do. And I was like, wow. So that was that my son at 16 years old is telling someone that's, in his late 40s, his father, to go and live his dream. That was amazing that my son,
absolutely.
I'm supposed to be giving my son wisdom. He's giving me wisdom.
Yeah, that's how God works. We don't know where it's going to come from. Yeah.
And so then, I came back to New York on faith. I asked God, I said, I want to live my dream. I want to be successful what I love to do. I love hip hop. And he's like, all right, you ain't gonna have no house with 5 bedrooms, and you ain't gonna have no Lexus, and you ain't gonna. It ain't gonna be you going back to New York, and no, I'm gonna have to. So he took everything. He removed everything from me.
Yes.
Everything. And I came back to New York on faith. I had no money. I had no job. And, this is, 25 years later, leaving New York. I'm coming back to New York to a place where everything is not the same no more. Things are not the same in New York when I was living in New York. Now I'm coming back 25 years later back to New York. People are not the same. Your friends are not everything is different now. So God was like, this is what you want to do. You're going to have to, it's going to be uncomfortable, but I got you. I'm God. I'm the Almighty God. I got you. And so that's how, so 5 years later, today, I remarried.
Yes. Hallelujah.
I got a job. I had a job working in telecom, but God was like, I'm going to bless you with everything that you lost in Georgia. I'm going to bless you 3-4 times over. All that you're going to. It's not going to be comfortable, but you have to have some faith in me. I'm God. I got you.
Yes.
And a lot of people don't have. A lot of people give up too easy. People don't have patience to wait on a confirmation from God. You got to, if you're going to be successful, you gotta have to wait for God to give you confirmation on how to respond back to people, and your life is going to have to change. You can't continue living and doing and operating the way that you was doing when I was in Georgia.
Yeah.
You can't. I can't do that.
Geechie, so this is the perfect opportunity for me to show what you're talking about. As you waited on God, you went through all of this. I mean, I wanted him to share his story because now he's a hip hop museum executive director, and I want to play a clip for you. Can we do that? Are you good with that?
Go ahead. Yeah,
Right.
thank you. Yeah, no doubt.
Yeah. So you guys get it. Wow. See, that's what I'm talking about. That's what
Yeah,
I'm talking about. That's the museum.
yeah.
That's fabulous. That was the opening. So
Yes,
we
that
were
was the opening that we had in October, where we did my first exhibit with the tapes and the flyers. So yeah,
mhm,
big shout out to John Anderson with the
mhm,
flyers, and I had the tapes, which were
mhm,
converted to MP3, and
mhm,
we reopened the museum in October. Big shout out to the Hip Hop Museum, DC, to the team, Jeremy Beaver, Jaquan, our historian, Christine Red Summer, Ron, RBI, and Cortez, Davino, you know what I'm saying? So yeah, big shout out to the team. And that situation happened from me being really proactive in hip hop, and Jeremy Beaver, the CEO of the museum, he reached out to me. He was like, "Yo, you're a passionate brother. I see everybody in hip hop. Hip hop, and while I started out being an audio archiver, and
mm,
providing audio for the museum on induction ceremonies and different events. And
mhm,
from that, it just went to another, went to the to me asking me to be the executive director for the museum. And then from that, um organization in Cape Town, South Africa, reached
mm,
out to me to be the brand ambassador, Generation Hip Hop Global. So big
nice.
shout out to Raquel and Terrence Barry and Ndabi Mandela, Nelson Mandela's grandson. He's our
Okay,
chairman. They reached out to me,
nice,
and they
nice.
felt, yeah, that was really dope. So God really not only you know you know do what I love to do, but he's hasn't he this was really a blessing. I didn't see this coming, but God, when you have a relationship with God, and when you rocking with God,
Yeah,
anything is possible, Roz.
it's possible.
Anything is possible. So big shout out to Hip Hop Museum in DC, to the team, Big shout out to Generation Hip Hop Global. And big shout out to I'm also the brand ambassador for the Wit Fanatics. So big shout out to Tori out in Queens. They got an antique.
Wit Fanatics, is that cars?
Yeah, they do. Yeah, they got an antique cars. They do a car show. They out in Queens. Okay. So they asked me, yo, Geechie, yo, you doing your thing. You from Queens. You from, from St. Albans. You from Hollis. Yeah. Yo, why don't you, represent and be our ambassador? And I actually asked them, could I be the ambassador? And he was, yo, man, no question. So he made me a brand ambassador for the Wit Fanatics. So big shout out to Tori. And then my man Flip, from Queens, he has a Fly TV platform, and we was chopping it up, and I told him some ideas, and he was like, yo, man, why don't you just be my executive director for partnership and content for Fly TV? So I was like, I bet. Mm-hmm. So, I was like, man, wow, God is really making my dream come true and making, doing what I want to do. Finally, I don't have the material. I might not have all the material items right now, but I'm happy. I'm happy. At 54, I'll be 54 in a few months, and I'm really happy on where I'm at. And God keeps waking me up in the middle of the night and blessing my imagination with more. He's like, no, I'm not done with you. I'm not done with you, Geechie. I'm going to make sure you take it to another level. I'm going to make sure that you do get blessed with all your ideas and all the dreams. And I'm going to make sure that you're good.
Yeah.
You just keep telling people your testimony. And you keep telling people that God is the one that's making this happen, and continue giving glory to God about it. That's all.
Mm-hmm. That's it right there. I got one more clip I want to show, and this is the Hip Hop Museum. Let me cue that up so you all know what God has done in his life. Hold on, I have to play some music over it, so hang on with me.
Take a step inside. Take a step inside. Music history as we bring you.
I just wanted to show a clip of what you've been up to, and that museum is fabulous. Is that in New York or DC?
That's in DC.
That's in DC. Okay, okay. I would definitely attend that. Um, but for the sake of time, and we're coming to the end, did you have some parting words for upcoming artists for that you want to share or leave them with?
Um, can you hear me?
I can hear you, yeah, but you're not moving.
Yeah. Can you see me?
I can just see you. Yep, yep. You're
Okay.
frozen. But go ahead. Uh-huh.
I'm from. Yeah, I can't see you right now, but something happened to my screen. But um, if you someone that's into hip hop and you love hip hop and you like the money is going to come, but my thing is learn about the culture, learn about the icons and the legends that the brothers and sisters that started this big pot of gumbo called hip hop. Why they still here above the ground, living. Get all the knowledge you can get from these brothers and sisters because you know our generation wasn't able to do a lot of things. It wasn't.
Uh-oh. I think we lost you. Are you there? Well, I'm just going to go on and hopefully he will come back. But I'm going to thank Geechie for sharing his story, no matter how tough it is. Are you back? Let me
Yeah, can you
see.
see me now?
Okay, hold on. There we
Okay.
go. Yeah. Okay,
Yeah,
you.
so this younger generation need to know my generation. They need to know the icons, they need to know the legends, and they need to know the business, so they won't get ripped off like we did. And we need to know this generation, and this generation, they need to know our generation, my generation, and bridge the gap from what was hip hop to what we're at today, called hip hop. Um,
Mm-hmm.
so I encourage the new artists to reach back and learn about our way of doing business and the way I don't want yeah, it's good to get money, and it's that's all good, get
Mm-hmm.
paid, get money, but at the same
Mm-hmm.
time learn the business. And I think that if this generation reach back to the individuals from my generation, they would be able to make better music, better songs, and better iconic music, classic hits,
Mm-hmm.
and we won't have this situation where we at now, where everything is stagnant. There's no diversity. There's Everybody's doing the same thing. Everybody's saying the same thing and talking the same
Mm-hmm.
on record, on wax, and the
Mm-hmm.
songs. And there's no growth. There's no creativity. There's no diversity. So I just think that if you really, really are interested in doing some hip hop classic music and longevity, like somebody like LL Cool J, um, his body of work is amazing, and so this generation needs to know hip hop. They need to learn. They need to know some hip hop, the authentic hip hop. The tapes, the park jams, and talk to these icons and these legends. And I just, like I said, if this generation would do that, this generation can make better music. All right.
Yeah. So that's I would before we go, I needed to ask you. So the change from the hip hop today from when you came up is completely different. It's all
Yeah.
about the glam and um, as opposed to materials. Like I grew up with the Shylights. I grew up, there was songs that you listened to,
Right.
you played, they had meanings, you were hurt, you made, music. And so do you think we'll get back to that at all in the hip hop culture?
I don't think we're gonna get back to it,
Mm,
but it would be nice for this generation to create music that simplifies the best of hip hop and not the
mm,
ignorant, the bottom of the barrel that's currently going on in the music and the entertainment business right now. I want the world. I would like to see the world see the best of our culture
mhm,
and not the
mm,
worst, not the ignorance, not the um, bottom of the barrel. I call it
mhm,
of our culture. Our culture is rich. Our culture
mm.
is has value, and
Yes.
our culture has power. So
Mm,
I want this generation to know how much power hip hop has, and,
mm,
and how rich it is,
mm,
and the subject matter that we talk about and what we put out can actually change the world. You can make some changes in this world with what's
mm,
going on with the bigotry and the racism going on in our country here in America. You can
mm.
actually, one artist or one song can change all that, So I would like to see that, you
Wow.
know.
Wow. Yeah, something that we can be proud of because that museum, that like said it all. I
Yeah,
can vibe with what was happening then, but now I'm lost in that whole generational gap. So I hope it grows in another direction. We can't go
yeah,
backwards, but come forward into a
right.
positive situation that you're speaking
Yes,
of. So, yeah.
yes. So I'm working on some things, to give our culture a boost, so to speak. I can't, I don't want, I can't, we all can't rely on all our hip hop icons and our legends to do it. We can't rely on Cool J to do it with Rock the Bells. Big shout out to him with that,
Mm,
with his Rock the
mhm.
Bell situation with Sirius XL. And
Yeah.
we can't rely on um, you know, um, individuals that's overseeing museums and curating our history. And
Mm,
so, we have to, sometimes we have to step outside the box and
yeah.
create our own platform and our own museums, which I'm currently, um, quiet as kept. I'm doing, I'm working on something as
You're
well.
doing a
So
documentary, aren't you? Or are you going to be doing a
I'm working on
documentary?
a documentary for my tapes. I'm working on a radio situation with BLS. I'm working on a situation for my book, The Kingdom Hall No More, to turn that
Ooh,
into a movie. I'm working on
oh,
yeah,
no.
thank you. Appreciate the love.
Yeah.
Go get that book, The Kingdom Hall No More, on
Yeah.
Amazon.com or authorhouse.com. It's a good read. And,
It's a great read. It's a
thank you. I
great
appreciate
read.
you. Yeah, I
Yeah.
appreciate you.
And if
Thank you.
you
Thank you.
need an agent, do you need an agent?
Yeah, I need an agent. I need a book deal. I definitely need a book deal. Yeah, I need somebody, put up some money, and buy the rights for my book, and turn it into a
Yeah.
movie.
Yeah, well, definitely is movie worth it. Well, it's been a pleasure to have you here. Walt Taylor wanted me to just make sure he said give you a shout out.
Thank
Um,
you. Appreciate that.
my brother Lud, he's over in he's over in Japan. He out the country, but so he's up late. So
Big
thank
shout
you.
out to Lud. What up, Lud? What up, B?
Yeah,
Yo,
yeah.
thank you. I appreciate everybody outside the country checking me out. I appreciate everybody in Los Angeles and Oakland and in California checking me out, and everybody across the country, everybody in the NY, in the Bronx and Queens, in my hometown. Saying check me out on Instagram as Geechie Dan Hollis, one word, lower caps. Check me
There
out
it
on
is.
Twitter. I'm on Twitter as Geechie _
Uh-oh. Geechie _ Well, we got him as Geechie Hollis. There's the information. So follow him on Instagram. And let me just come back out and thank you all. Hold on a minute. Let's see if he's coming back. Well, again, it's been a pleasure. Thank you all. This concludes Roz's Happy Hour, Season 2, Episode 3. Please don't forget to share this link and like us on all of our format. Listen, we are looking forward to next week with Elon Trotman, jazz saxophonist, February 3rd. We'll see you then. Thank you for your support. Be blessed. Good night. And let's go out with some let's go leave with some hip hop. Stand by, y'all.